Morning, folks. How you doing? Welcome to episode 3 with Cooking with Nick and his young apprentice, the good-looking Mark. So, and that's not saying Nick isn't good-looking, but we say no more. So, just to remind you, folks, if you look, one of the reasons we're doing this is one, if you're looking for a great Christmas present for you and all the family, Nick's book Dyslexic. And every week, this is the 3rd episode. I still haven't got that right. And that's my dyslexia. This book is for everyone. Everyone, neurodiverse, neurotypical, everyone. This is a great book to have at home for Christmas, for cooking with the family, cooking with the kids. A lot of the recipes we're doing are in this, right? And I know Nick is working on volume 2. So this is volume 1. And you can get that on Amazon, Amazon.co.uk and on Amazon.com. And my children's book, The Umbrella Girls, is out there on Amazon as well. So another great Christmas present. And for those business people who are going through a tough time, I know the UK and Ireland with cost of living and all that, a lot of businesses are having a very hard time. My book, my business book, is all about protecting your mental health. It covers over the last 40 years. It's called You Need a Neck Like a Jockey's Bollocks to Be an Entrepreneur, right? And it talks about protecting your mental health. And I tell stories about different situations that have arisen and the importance of looking after yourself and how to look after yourself. Because as Nick knows, when you're working for yourself, sometimes you only have yourself to talk to. And you need to get out and about and meet other people and have a cup of coffee and make sure your mental health is protected.
So true, Mark. But now I'm starting to think of a new recipe, the jockey's bollocks.
Brilliant. Well, now today, folks, just so Nick, how are you? How was your week?
Yeah, I had a pretty good week, not bad at all, and really been looking forward to this. I'm just going to start to call you Mark the Hat.
Well, yeah. Nick, I've been called worse.
For this week is that you've got your ingredients right.
I have my ingredients right. So I don't have a pomegranate. I don't have my passion fruit. And I got my mince. And just say, folks, we're going to do a few more episodes to come, all about helping you at Christmas time. Nick and I want to help you at Christmas time. Nick wants to show you how to make sure you have a fantastic Christmas day or a fantastic Christmas dinner, and even down to making the sandwiches after Christmas Day, all that type of stuff. So we're going to try to give you as many tips because it's a day where everybody's under pressure. And very shortly, we're going to be putting up a sheet that you can download, which will help you to plan your day in advance.
A day of celebration.
A day of celebration. So
Mark, what I really want to make sure is, I've got a great big vat of mince here. I use this every year. And I add to it with some apricots. So you buy your mince. I buy it anyway. It's easier. And I load it up with a few apricots chopped into it. And then for a bit of a kick, I like to put in brandy or perhaps mead made from honey, which is absolutely fantastic. And I put a bit of mead in my one.
Jack Daniels.
Pardon?
Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Hold on.
Anne-Marie makes her own mince. She does like you do. She gets all the veg, all the fruit and all that, and she makes her own mince pies with her own mixture.
She pump it up with alcohol and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. She either put some brandy into it or she put some whiskey into it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
it makes a difference.
Huge difference.
Let's have a look at your mince, Mark.
Well, today I bought it in the shop. Right, so this one was brandy and port.
That's great, because I was really worried that you were going to get pork mince instead of the. Oh, what are you doing with the pork mince?
I did as well. and just to say to people, and Nick would probably agree with me, if you are getting your mince and your turkey and your hams, do yourself a favour and get it from your local butcher, because the quality of the meat is so much better. Our local butcher, I'm going to say who he is J.W. Smith. I just collected this yesterday. Every year he brings out a great menu of all the things that you can order for Christmas, the turkeys, the hams. So they're near me in Portmarnock and Raheny. You probably have a local butcher as well, do you?
You are you've hit the nail on the head. There are times for convenience when we go to the supermarket, but as you said, if you can, go to your local butcher because it is 100% better. I get my Christmas turkey from a poultry farm called Oates Poultry Farm near Hassocks or in Hassocks, which isn't too far from here. And it's worth the trip because they're free range. They even get a name. I mean, last year's turkey was called Daphne. So, God, I mean, I'm not too sure what this year's turkey is going to be called, but I'm really looking forward to it. It was so nice. And when you go to your local butcher, if you really calculate the costs involved here, I did the other day, I bought some marsh lamb, Romney marsh lamb, which has been feeding off the salt marshes. And it's almost like seasoning its own meat, which is a wonderful
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
flavour, you know. And
Uh,
the pound per pound, it was the same cost as Asda.
yeah. And then the other thing is, unlike in the supermarkets, you can say to the local butcher, how will I cook this? How long do you think I should keep her on? Because when I go down there every Christmas Eve to pick up mine, there's always people in there saying, right, how long do I leave that on for? How many hours? And what do I do with it? And and do I base it? And like, what time should I put it on at? They know, and they give out so much free, great advice, which is fantastic as well.
Nice. I asked my butcher the same thing the other day, and he said, "Well, you're not much of a chef, are you?" I said, "Oh, I don't know everything."
Right. So what are we? So what we starting? What we starting off with today, Nick?
It's on at 180 degrees if you've got a fan oven.
Yeah, it's on.
Fantastic. Maybe 190 if you haven't. And
Yeah.
put your baking sheet. We need a big baking sheet to hold all our tart cases. If we put that into the oven now, it will heat up. Is your baking sheet in there, Mark?
Right. So okay. So you mean something like this, a baking tray that people would have?
That's the baking tray. But we're heating that up so that when we put our tarts on it later and put it back into the oven, it's already hot and the bases of our tarts are going to cook.
Right. I think most people would have something like this, but even they don't, they'd probably have a dish or something as well, wouldn't they? So you can even put them into it. Even if you had a casserole dish, you can put some of them into it.
Yes, you can do. Obviously, it's harder to take a casserole dish out and get your tarts out of it, but most people have a baking tray that they cook things on. And they're really cheap.
Yeah.
You pick them up for £1 or £2 at any supermarket. You can't get them at your butcher, sadly.
Yeah. You know, you can't get them in the butchers. No, you can't get everything in the butchers. But, right, so that's in the oven. The baking tray's in the oven now.
Now, I'm going to go through something because it was only last week when Mark mentioned to me he was going to get pork mince instead of the traditional fruit mince. And I say traditional, but years ago, they used the meat back in the sort of medieval times, I believe. And so
Yeah.
we're going to be doing a pork mince pie, which is quite exciting because the flavours of that, I think, are going to be really good. And what we're going to start off with...
Let's face it, you do look like a Viking, so we can't go back that far.
Thank you. I want to start off with a ragu. Now, most of us have made this, a bolognese, a spaghetti bolognese.
Yes.
Posh word for the sauce there, Mark, is ragu. Don't ask me why, but that's it. Anyway, I know you've made some there, and what I'd like...
Yeah, I made mine last night because I knew that anyone looking at this wouldn't want to spend the whole week looking at me doing it.
No, and I'm not going to let everybody spend the whole week looking at me to it. I'm going to go through some of the ingredients or all of the ingredients and pop it into a pan as we're talking. So I started heating my pan, and what you want is a deep-sided pan or casserole.
Yeah, and this is where I made mine in.
Ah, yes, perfect, perfect. Let's just take the lid off, Mark, and let's have a look.
Yeah. There you are there.
Oh, that's lovely, lovely.
And I had that on for about 5 hours yesterday.
Right, so I'm going to throw my onions into, it's but one small red onion or half a big onion into the pan. Off it goes, and it should sizzle straight away because we've got this temperature at about an 8 out of 10.
you call them red onions, but like, why do we send kids to a shop for a red onion when the onions ain't red? They're more like a pink.
Well, they're purple, aren't they? Look at
They're
this, mate.
purple, yeah.
I've got onions all the way up my arm. Red onions.
You like your onions?
I love my onions so much. I just had to get a tattoo with them on. Anyway, speaking of onions,
It's look, you don't like tractors.
I like it just as well. I just like, I might get a tattoo of you by the end of the day. You don't know. I'm not sticking it on my arm.
Oh, your poor wife, she'll leave you. You'll be divorced.
All right, add a bit of salt to your onions. It's always nice to sort of season those, I think, when they're sizzling. Like, and then here's a pepper, nice red pepper, whole pepper, straight in. Oh, I love the noise of that sizzle. I'm going to bung my carrots also into the onions. And the reason we're doing this
and
now...
again, this isn't expensive to do. 1 or 2 carrots, 1 red pepper, 1 onion. Like, so it's still very cheap to put together.
A stick of celery.
Yeah.
Now, I like to put my tomatoes in later on. So I've got, do you know what, guys? If you've got anything in the fridge which is going a bit soft, let's say there's a few tomatoes. Yeah, they're a bit soft. You don't really fancy eating them like that. They're not off, and you can use them in this sort of dish. So I had some soft tomatoes, even though I've got chopped tomatoes from a tin, which is still good. I'm going to add those tomatoes in just because they're there. And sometimes you've got a piece of salami that you want to use or anything like that that's going to add flavour. Just pop it straight in. Garlic, whatever you've got, really.
Like the tomatoes in a tin from one of the big stores, it's nice and easy. But equally, I go to a market every Saturday and they have organic tomatoes, and they can make a huge difference to the taste of the dish. That looks fantastic, Nick. Looks really well.
Colours. So what we're going to do, really, the reason I've started doing this is I'd like to keep it on now for 2 or 3 hours. So clearly we won't be doing that in our podcast today because it obviously is going to take too long. But what I'm going to do now is I'd leave that going normally for about 10 minutes to soften up all the vegetables. Then you add your tomatoes.
Yeah.
They go straight in. Give them a bit of stir. And before anything else happens, some wine. So I'm a bit upset because I wanted to drink this today. Anyway, it's going in here. The wine deglazes the pan and it gives it flavour. And if you want to turn the heat up just to get that going, because what we want to do is steam off that wine.
Yeah.
And then all those flavours from the bottom will go through it as well. And add a little bit of pepper, why not? A bit of seasoning.
Yeah, a bit of seasoning thrown in.
The next thing, of course, is stock. We need the stock. That's, oops, swapped it everywhere. It's got to go in there in a moment, but I'm still letting that wine deglaze the pan and then that evaporates. Okay, now that that's evaporated, in goes our stock along with our tin tomatoes. And it should be...
And what people are not getting, the smell is fantastic of all this stuff cooking away.
Right, now, in a separate pan, you would have perhaps fried up your meat and coloured your meat, coloured your pork mince, which once you've done, you add to the pan too.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to get some mince from over here.
And this week, folks, Nick's camera is not following him because he's like me. We have this contraption that follows you around the room. The only problem is when it doesn't work, you're looking at nothing. And last week, mine went a bit berserk, and so did Nick's.
Yeah, so I think it's better now that it's actually clearer what we're doing. When you've done your meat and, as I said, just fry it lightly. It just needs a bit of colour. You can do it in the same pan, but because I've been rushing through this, just to show you guys what's happening, I've chosen to...
Yeah,
in this way.
I did it all in the same pan. I had all mine done, and I put the pork in like I always do, or
Yeah.
Emery would put the beef in if she was doing spaghetti bolognese and that, and cook it all with the juices and everything else you've already put into the pan.
Absolutely right. Now we're going on to something which is quite interesting. I'm just going to point this out now because I'm going to talk about pastry in a moment. So don't you worry now. Bring your heat up, and when your heat has come up into your ragu, you mix it up. Add a couple of bay leaves or one large bay leaf, and then bring the heat down so it's just going to be on a slow simmer. So, of course, Mark and I have made some already. And what I'd like to do, Mark, is you've got lots of beautiful ragu there, but let's put some in a small bowl, this sort of size.
Okay.
Some of the ragu. And once you've yeah, that's perfect. Once you've done that, I mean, I've got a little Tupperware here. Once you,
so do you want me to put half in, or how much do you want me to put in it?
You know what, Mark? I put about 6 heaped spoonfuls in. Oh, you have got big spoonfuls there. Okay, maybe 4. And
I'll put 4 in.
Yeah. And then, guys, here comes the big twist. I'd like you to add at least 1 heaped spoonful of your fruity mints, your usual Christmas fruity mints, into that.
Oh, right, okay.
And I've already done that, guys. And you can see, if you look very carefully, the fruit in there.
So you want 1 spoonful of this in?
Yeah, and mix it all up. Oh, you'd be a bit more generous than that, Mark. Perhaps 2. You won't taste that.
2, okay.
Yeah, sorry. Now, guys,
that will give her a nice taste.
Oh yeah, give that a really good mix. You want a ratio of sort of 1 to 3. So if you've got 3 lots of ragu, you want 1 lot of the fruit. So you do want to be able to taste that beautiful Christmas flavour mixed with your pork mince, and that's quite tasty. In fact, it's extremely tasty. I've been eating it all week since I made it. Well, not all week, couple of days.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's fantastic.
Yeah, good, isn't it? And actually,
it's fantastic.
I like it more than the normal one we make. Anyway, so we're going to put that to one side because it's important now we start talking about pastry. And we're going to make we're going to make a pastry, which, to be honest, is very easy. If you're running out of time and you don't want to make it by hand, then I suggest you follow this procedure. I've got a little friend here. Come on. I haven't given him a name, but maybe Mark, you'd come up with that sometime for me. But anyway, here he is. He's a Thermomix. And he does absolutely everything for me when I do events, from hollandaise sauces just to this type of thing with to make a pastry. And quite frankly,
is that the machine now that they say? Is that the machine that they say will replace all your machines?
Yes, exactly. It can almost replaces your food processor. It replaces your weighing machine. It heats.
Well, then there's only one name you can call it: Nick Jr.
Yeah, hell, it's a lot more reliable than Nick. I can tell you that. Just ask my wife. Is the first thing is we're going to add an egg yolk. And I'm doing this in front of you guys. I think I'm brave to do that, actually, because it's probably going to go wrong, which it doesn't normally do, but of course. Okay, so we separate that egg yolk. I separate mine the old-fashioned.
And that's why I pre-made mine, so that if I did make a mistake, no one would see it. And I didn't make any mistake. It was perfect.
Yeah, right. There goes the egg yolk. Save your egg whites for later. I put that to one side. Egg yolk gel goes to one side, don't need that. And now I'm going to add my flour. I've already measured out my flour, and guys, if you want the exact recipes, it is 150 grams of flour, and I think we're going to supply details like that as well. So
here we are, yeah, we're going to put it all up there.
here goes the flour. Finish with that. Then next I'm going to pop in some sage, because this recipe, believe it or not, is sweet savoury, as in. So we've got a bit of sage, and I'm only going to put in there a tablespoon. Tablespoon of dry sage, easy to get. Pop, there it goes. And I just like that, really. I love the colour. I love the colour. The combination of the seeing the sage on the pastry, and the pastry itself's really nice. So weirdly, in goes a tablespoon of sugar, and it's a confection of icing sugar. And it goes. And finally, that is finally. Okay, guys, what I want to sort of do now is just pop on the lid. Easy as that. I can add through the top of mine when I forget.
Oh, right, okay, very good.
A cold tablespoon of water. Quite important to add that. So it's just what I didn't forget. Now I'm going to just pulse it, and I like to do it manually. So here we go. Quite loud.
I can't hear it at all here.
There is a setting for this. I like to do it myself.
So how long would you do that for, Nick?
Then take the top off, and all I do is like you would with any food processor, really. Give it a little bit of a mix, and add your butter. So we've got mixed to a certain extent. I've got my butter prepared, of course. And in it will go, because without the butter, we have no pastry. Off it goes, straight in the top, and back to giving it a bit of a mix again. Now, you can crumble your butter with your flour and do it I call it the old-fashioned way, but it's quite nice to do that. It just takes time. It always depends, really, doesn't it? On how much...
That's how I did mine. How we did ours yesterday, because we don't have that machine.
Well, let me tell you something. It is the best way of doing it. I'm just trying to just show people very quickly. But yeah, to do that and get into the fine breadcrumbs is wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just going to do this now. I'm listening. Okay, it's gone together now. So that's it, guys. Really just so quick. Take it off the top. And as you can see in there.
Fantastic.
All I need to do is get it out. Never put your hand in when it's connected, obviously.
No, make sure you turn the power off. I always go one step more. I turn the power off and unplug it.
Oh. Right, so this, when you see that type of texture, it just sticks together. And what I want to just show now is how easy that was. I mean, it was just minutes. And there's
very easy, yeah. That only took a couple of minutes.
Nothing, nothing at all. When you're making this, again, turn it into what I call, it's a flat round. So you're just going to whack it down on your bench. That's a flat round. The reason we do that is it's easy to roll out later. And stick that in the fridge.
And mine's been in the fridge all night.
Okay. And Mark,
because unlike Nick, I'm not as quick as Nick, because Nick has the experience. So I will be still trying to put the machine on.
Okay, so there we are. We've done that. And that goes into the fridge. Now, if you're making it straight off, pop it in there for 20 minutes. A lot of people say half an hour. I've got to be honest. If it goes too rock hard, it's quite hard to roll out. But let's just see how that goes. So, Mark, you've got some you prepared earlier.
Yes. So now we're going to roll this out. I need to move this machine. Hold on a second now.
And I'm going to move mine as well, so we've got more space to look at things.
Right, so we're in here now.
Right, so it's very important, and I can't stress this enough, to prepare your work surface. Firstly, make sure you've got nothing else stuck to it. And
yeah, I wiped this 10 times.
Yeah, good one. And then get some flour and sprinkle flour all over your work surface because you're going to be rolling on this. And if you get your pastry stuck, it will ruin your tarts or well, we ruin them. They'll just get stuck and they'll go out of shape and all sorts of things like that. Good.
Right.
Wow, that's very nice, Mark.
There you go.
Pop your pastry round onto your flour.
Yeah.
And then turn it so it's got flour on both sides.
Gotcha.
Now, I don't know if you've seen my rolling pin, Mark.
Oh, what? Well, see, I'm like the cows in the old days. I've got two.
Whoa! So we're going to roll it. So I like to roll it one way, my round, and then turn it and roll it the other way. And if at the sides you see it cracking, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So like this, flip it again. Make sure that flour's underneath.
Yeah.
Roll it out again. And we're looking for about 3 millimeters. We're just going to flip it again. We're going to keep doing this until we get down to 3 millimeters, whenever that is. Try and get that rolling pin to cover the whole surface. Otherwise, you find one thick bit, one thin bit, and be all over the place.
So you want 3 mils?
Just about 3 mils, yeah. I mean, for this tart, you can go down to 2 mils, really. It's just that we want it to be able to work nicer. Okay, I'm there. How are you?
Yeah, can you see that?
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so once you've done that, take your cutter. It's important to have a cutter.
Yeah, I have a glass.
Which is just slightly bigger, if possible, than your tart tin. And
yeah, and just to show people, the tart tins we are using have removable bottoms.
Yes, snap. Me too.
Yeah, so it's much handier.
Much easier. Cut as many of those rounds out of what you've got as you can. And I'm only going to be able to cut 4.
Yeah, I have 4.
Put them to one side. And then you can reuse your dough. I mean, we won't do that now because we're doing a demonstration.
Yeah.
You can reuse your dough again and roll it out. So just put that to one side for now. Take 4 cases. And, well, with the first case, just lay it on top. And you want to try your best to feed it in from the sides. And the reason we feed this in is just so it goes in evenly and doesn't stretch too much and doesn't give us a hole where we don't really want it. And if you do get a hole, honestly, it doesn't matter because we've got dough that we can add in.
How's that?
Wow. That's
So
my
I
father.
know is yours up to the top? Because mine is not up to the top. Does that make a difference for people?
Well, mine's up to the top. It depends on the size of the cutter you used. So if it's not up to the,
Yeah.
please don't worry. But if it must be a certain depth, otherwise we're going to not get any ingredients in there. But it's very important. And look at this, guys. If you're using a ridged tin or tart dish, make sure you push your pastry into every single ridge that's there. And because mine's gone up a little bit, I'm just going to go over the edge and watch this again, guys. I'm going to cut the excess off just because I want to have that type of finish, really. And it may well shrink, and it probably will, but that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so we've got one tart done, and while we're here, we're going to do the other three, Mark, so we can.
Yeah, I'm working away here.
You're working away, and if this was a race, you'd be winning.
Well, I don't think so because you have the skill.
I'm not sure. Yours look pretty good there. So again, press it all in, nice and fine. And purely out of habit, I've got to say, but what I like to do, because you don't really get much leakage on this, is just put in a couple of holes in the bottom of each tart when it's done with your fork. Did you get?
Really? And what's the purpose of that, Nick?
It stops it it's expanding at the bottom. So in other words, sometimes when you're baking it, if you haven't got those holes, it will build up from the bottom and you get a weird shaped tart. And we want to keep those the bottom of the tart flat.
So I'm literally going to take a fork and pierce the bottom.
Absolutely, no problems with that. We're not going to get our ingredients shooting out all over the place. And then again, what I'm doing is just trimming the top because mine have gone a little high just to finish that off. Make a couple of holes. And let's get the last two done super fast. Feed them all in through the sides. Now I've had to turn down my ragu because it started to boil too much at the same time. And when those are done, again, I'm trimming off all the way around the edge. Remember, our pastry is delicious. So if it is thick or you think it might be too thick, don't worry about it because it's a lovely, lovely flavour. A couple of
And will the pastry rise?
No, the pastry shrinks normally.
Right. Okay.
And that it won't rise. It sort of hardens a bit, shrinks a bit, but we want it to be nice and crumbly as well. So
yeah,
honestly,
this is the first time I've done this. I've cooked loads of other stuff. I've never done this.
can you show us one close up?
There's two here.
Bloody hell, that looks fantastic, Mark.
Brilliant. Thanks for that.
Like a professional.
You see, when I become a professional, I get a white hat.
Sure enough, and it's a bit taller than that. Okay, so Mark's faster than me, but I'm now going to just trim off again because my cutter, as I said, is slightly bigger, and I like to trim.
Yeah, and it's good because your cutter is small or bigger. Yours goes all around the edges, and mine doesn't. I have to force them around the edge.
Okay, yeah. So let's put in a couple of those holes. We've got those in there. And now we're going to add our mince, the one we prepared with the fruits.
Right, so I'm gonna, oh yeah, with the fruits, okay. And how much am I putting in, Nick?
I'd like to put it in until it's right. Now, I'm going to describe this as best I can, but almost flush to the top of the tart. So that's not the tart tin, that's where your pastry meets.
Right, gotcha, okay.
So the mincemeat.
So you mean something like this, do you, Nick? Anybody looking now? My pastry goes to here.
Exactly right. And you flatten it down, Mark.
Flatten it down.
And then you do the same with each one. And I'll show what I've done as well here. So you flatten it down in line with your pastry, just like that.
Show us yours. Oh, that looks lovely.
Smells good, doesn't it?
It smells fantastic. And putting in the fruit mince has made a big difference in the taste.
Well, you know, sweet fruit often goes with meat, but I love that salty, sweet type flavour that comes through from these sort of dishes. Now, we've got 4 tarts made. And guys,
hold on.
We won't waste anything in case you're worrying, because after we film this, we finish all the cooking and then we use up all our ingredients. Just giving the ragu a stir, and as I said before, that's just going to keep going for a few hours. So that's what you'd make first if you were doing this, making this dish.
Yeah.
We had pastry left over.
We have.
And what we're going to do is squash that down.
Yeah.
And roll it out, because I'd like to cut a star and stick that onto the top of my dish.
Oh, very good. For each one.
For each one, exactly. It's just that you don't want your tarts, if you're making a group of tarts, let's say you were making these and you're going to be making the traditional mince pie.
Yeah.
And what you don't want to have is them both looking the same, really.
Yeah, good point.
So this time we're going down to about 2 mil. It's not as thick. Just roll it out. And then we want to cut 4 stars. And I've got this little star cutter. I mean, you can use any shape you want. You could do little circles. You could do straight lines over the top, whatever you fancy. I'm doing stars. I reckon they're kind of Christmassy, really.
Yeah, look, it looks well. And would you put a full cover on some of them?
It's your choice. And there's nothing wrong with doing that as well. You basically got the choice. It doesn't matter how you decorate them. And they could be open. They can have stars on them. They can have butterflies on them. It really doesn't matter. So long as you're happy with the decoration. Then
I'll do one with a top on it.
Now, what I'm going to do, guys, you can leave them floating, or you can roll them out a little bit. I'm rolling my stars out, so they're kind of like, well, they look individual, I'd say. They've got a bit of character. Then I'll stick it on top of my, straight down, push it right into the mincemeat, so it stays there. Okay, and the same with all of them. Get your stars. I've got a star.
Like this, my stars. Are my stars too small, or should I make them bigger?
No, that's a fun. Just make sure they're pushed down, Mark, not right into it. So they cover, don't let them cover the top, but just let them sit right in the mincemeat. So they're going to be stuck there when it starts to cook. And if I can show you one of mine.
Oh yeah, yours are bigger.
Well, I've got smaller tart. I think I've got smaller tart tins than you.
Maybe, yeah. So there's one I've done with a cover.
Lovely. I mean, absolutely fine. Okay. So our tart tins. We know we've got something in the oven already. We take the tin out, that flat tin out. We put our tarts on there, and in 20 minutes, they'll be ready.
Okay.
Very importantly, do not take the tin out without an oven glove on. Take your oven glove out. Your oven gloves, keep them on. Take your tin out.
Now, and just put them straight back in.
Straight in, and set a little timer for 20 minutes. Now, if you wanted to, you could put a little bit of sugar over the top. I don't really want to do that, so I'm putting mine straight in. There's also something else you can do, guys, if you decide that's what you wanted to do, or you want a slightly different finish to the outside. Take some of the egg whites and just put it over the star. There we go. Let's now pop that into the oven. Do not pick that tray up without your gloves on.
No, make sure you have using oven gloves or a good thick tea towel or something.
Into the oven. Let's leave that now. It's 20 minutes. And so I'm going to set the timer. "20 minutes. And there you have it, guys. That is the meaty mince pie.
Yeah, so that's part one of what we're doing. So we're doing this in 2 episodes, folks. So in episode 2, we're going to take them out. But in episode 2, we're going to do using the fruit mince.
A traditional one, but it's not quite completely traditional, because in episode 2, the mince pies are going to be open, and we're going to actually put some marzipan grated on the top of them, which really gives a nice finish, and the pastry will be different. So we'll see you guys in the next episode, and we'll be able to show you what those tarts look like, and hopefully get the opportunity to taste one, Mark.
Brilliant, Nick. Thanks for everything. Talk to you very shortly for part number 2.
Over and out.
Over and out.